Hello, and welcome to the podcast. My name's Adam, and I'm here with Chris
Hi.
and Lee.
Hello.
And today we're going to be discussing some of the hottest esports topics of the week so far, around Dota 2 and Overwatch. So, first topic, guys, Dota Plus. What do you think? What's the big news with it?
Well, it's the plus assistant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah, I
weird,
think-
really, isn't it?
It'd be useful, especially for someone like me who doesn't play a lot of Dota slash follow an infinite amount of it. What is it? Because I've read
Okay.
things that say it does this and things that say it does that. I'm like, I don't know.
So it came out on, was it Monday? Monday it came out, I think, 2 days ago. And it was, as it says on the website, an evolution of the Battle Pass system. It's not really just that though, is it? Let's be honest. If you don't know, a Battle Pass usually would be like different sets for your heroes, like challenges, weekly targets and goals and rewards, and the Battle Cup, which is a tournament that's held weekly, that players can sign up to play on a different team, and they'll get rewards if they win. But this has all that sort of stuff, as well as this thing called the Plus Assistant, which is basically, how would you describe it? It basically gives live, real-time tips to players on what they should pick in the draft phrase, or like what items they should build, depending on a certain situation. And you can also see a net worth of you and your entire team. So it sort of, it seems a little bit pay to win, maybe. I think that's what a lot of people were upset
Okay.
about.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds a fairly reasonable assumption in that it just gives you a load of information, but
Yeah.
as long as you pay money. My one counter argument to subscribing to Dota Plus would be there's, other than the net worth thing and the real time item build, there's like a million and one third party
Yeah.
websites and services that you can get that'll be like, here's your build, here's how you do this, here's
Yeah.
real time stats and stuff.
There's also, like I just said, the third party stuff, which is like Dota Buff. Was it MOBA Fire? I think that's the league one, which is like Dota
Yeah.
Fire for Dota, which gives you all the up to date stuff. You've also got Tortellini's guides in game.
Yep.
Which we all know, as we probably used once or twice before.
A lot.
Yeah.
They're very
Yeah.
in depth. They cover a lot of stuff you want, but that's what they are at the point of the release of the patch, right? Which, as we've seen in Dota tournaments and in pubs, item builds and heroes in games change position, change if meta basically. It's like, for instance, Gyro was probably one of the worst picks for a while. It got, picked up recently. And now it's like almost banned and picked in every game.
Yeah.
Using this plus assistant, you get the most up to date, I guess, which is technically a tangible advantage over people that don't use it, right?
Yeah.
Am I the only one thinking that, or?
No, that's a pretty fair assumption from what I've seen, what I've read, and what I've kind of heard from you guys, is that using this is a way to get an advantage above players that don't have it or don't quite have the knowledge, which
Yeah.
I think is the other thing. Something like this is a really good kind of starting point for new players, because players that have played Dota for years now, or even 6 months or whatever, aren't really gonna find much use. There'll be some situations where you'll go against something where
Hmm.
you just don't know the counter. You
Yeah.
don't know what you build or what you play or whatever in that situation. Where Dota Plus will come in handy. But if you've got enough experience in it, it's not really going to affect you.
Yeah.
The only thing
No.
that will is like the real-time net worth and
Yeah, stuff like that.
Mm,
Keeping
like-
you up to the standard that everyone else is supposedly at.
yeah, anything that gives you information quicker and more easily, like or more readily available, is going to give you an advantage. But other than that, it comes down to skill and knowledge. I think.
There was also something I read on Reddit as it popped up once or twice over the last few days. If any of you have seen, people were calling it pay to learn. I don't know if either of you
Okay.
saw that.
I think a lot of people are a little bit upset that even if you're a new player, you have to pay to have this system. A lot of the things in it, a lot of people think you should have already in the game. Like the net worth indicator, you could just have that in for free, right? It shouldn't be something you pay for. Item suggestions, there's like 1,000,001 different guides that you could choose from already. Ability suggestions were already there as well. Like it doesn't tell you the percentage like it does on Dota Plus, but it would tell you what pros would pick in the most popular pro games and stuff like that. So some of the stuff's already in there. Just it's more in depth now.
Yeah. Also, there's skill orders in guides already, isn't there?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yes.
So the only thing you're getting is the percentage, right?
Yeah, it's telling you out of so many games, say 62% picked this ability at this level.
Yeah.
Whereas the Dota guides that are already in the game, or should I say that have been in the game longer, were they would just be bright yellow or whatever when the skill was available. It wouldn't tell you other reasons to pick up ones. It just be like, this is your next skill to pick.
Yeah.
That's the difference between them.
The major difference I'm seeing is it adapts rather than just being static, rather than just being a kind of here's what you do. It's more of a kind of you can do this is what is like the largest percentage win rate thing to do, but also in this situation you could go this.
Yeah, that's basically the gist of the leveling system for it. And again, does that count as enough of an advantage over people? Like, I would think so in the lower level game. Like as you said, people that haven't played before or people that have only just picked up the game. If you go into low level pubs or whatever, you've technically got something over someone else by paying for something, which by definition really is pay to win.
Yeah.
Like, it might not be a huge one. It might not be like WoW, say WoW's not around. The Star Wars The Old Republic games. You know how they have the free to play version and then you got the paid version, haven't you?
Yeah.
The paid version gets a lot more than the free version. It's not to that extent, but it's in the same kind of line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something else that's in the Dota Plus is your death summary. Now this kind of annoys me a little bit as a player of both League and Dota 2. The death summary is readily available in League, and it's just as in depth as the one in Dota Plus. Like the one in Dota before Dota Plus was just, oh, you died to this spell. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And it might have given you the damage or whatever.
But Dota Plus gives you what type of damage, physical, magical, pure, damage by hero, if you were stunned or silenced or rooted or whatever, and how much damage you took per second. Like, so it'll give you the timer from when you started dying to when you died, and it will give you how much damage you took from what spell. This is that a little bit more in depth than League now, but you pay for it.
Yeah. Basically, League's on a base level does the same thing.
Yeah.
But the League one is garbage.
Okay.
There's a reason there's a meme. It's that for pretty much the past 8 years of League of Legends, it's never been perfect. It's never done exactly what it needs to. It'll tell you killed yourself with a certain spell, or that a spell that doesn't do any like damage is the like killing blow and stuff.
Okay.
So this is similar on quite a few levels. From what I'm seeing of the screenshots and whatever, it does look more in depth. Like there's specific timers and stuff on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Fair enough.
I mean, the dev summary's okay. I guess it kind of takes the next step in the assistant, doesn't it? 'Cause,
yeah, it's something to put in there, I think, really more than anything else, to be honest.
yeah, like, the assistant gives you the items that are mostly bought and what they suggest. And then the dev summary is the next point, is where you know the items, but you're not too sure when to buy them.
Yeah.
And this gives you the idea of what you're dying to in a lot more information. Well, there's a lot more information on it.
Yeah.
Before, it'd be like, oh, you died to a physical spell, and it might give you the information of that one spell.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's saying, oh, you died, say 75% of it was physical, 20% of it was magical, and 5% was pure, right? So you go, right, I know the item I want to buy, an AC or a Shiva's Guard, which is armor based, which stops physical attacks. Again, does that count as an advantage, or is it just sort of
I
a
think
fancier way?
a lot of Dota Plus, to me, is counted by just simple logic, really. Like, a lot, if you have common knowledge of the game, you'll understand, oh, I'm dying to physical damage, I'll buy an armor item, right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot more useful to lower level players, and I think that's what a lot of pro players have said, but lower level players will use this if they can afford it. I think that's perfectly fine. Same with new players, obviously, because new players, not every new player is going to be a bad player, but like, learning the
They
mechanics.
still need to learn the
Yeah.
mechanics and everything of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like personally, I'm obviously more. I'm newer to the game than you two are. I've only got, looking at my Steam right now, I've only got 536 hours.
Yeah.
Compared to
Oh, God, yeah.
however much you two have got combined.
Don't want to talk about between two accounts here, alright?
That's not alright. But if I was someone, like if I was just picking up the game now, obviously it's Dota as it is free.
Yeah.
If Dota Plus was advertised to me as, here is a bunch of stats and a way to get you learning itemization and learning what's a good pick when, I would consider spending the what is it, like $3.99 for a month?
£3,
£3, 5p per month. I was going to get onto this in a bit, but I guess we'll talk.
So yeah, it's £3 for a month. I would consider that.
Let me just check how much Dota Plus is quickly.
It's $6, I believe.
Okay, so that's about $4 something.
4 or 5 quid, yeah, somewhere around that. But obviously that has been around a little bit longer than Dota Plus has.
Mm-hmm.
So
$6 a month for Dota Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, Dota Buff by itself is very useful without the plus part. So I mean, it's whatever.
But it's not in game, is it?
It's not in game, no, and it's not live either. That's one of the big points. It's not a live thing.
I guess if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about the price of it.
Oh yeah. Bring it up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Me and Chris were talking about it last night. So as we said, it was £1. Was it £3, 5p per month?
Yeah.
If you buy it in a 6-month bulk, you can get it for like 5 or 6% cheaper. I think it says
6%. I meant 12% for 12 months.
Yeah. which works out to be like £17.29 or £32. Like,
Mhm.
and I was trying to. Now I can't remember exactly how much a battle pass cost. Like the original, like the first level, you don't get all the extra shit stuff at
I'll look it
75
up.
or whatever, and it was.
Yeah.
I want to say it was around £7.99. Right, I'm not 100% sure, but we'll go with it. And if you did 2 or 3 battle passes a year, it'd come up to around between £20 and £30 because I can't remember the exact price. Now, with this, you buy about the same amount, but I've been reading around, and apparently there's an international battle pass still, possibly.
Yeah.
Now,
the TI7 Battle Pass base level 1 costs $10, so that's about, what, like £8, something like that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was £7 or £8 when I bought it. Bought the TI6 one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
That being the only one I bought.
you can also buy levels, which is
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, you could buy small amounts for. It's the same kind of system as this, wasn't it? You either had the base amount, or you could get larger amounts with a bit of like discount on it. Right. Now, if you start adding up, say, the cheaper versions, you probably get to, I don't know, as I was saying, it's about £20 to £30, give or take. Right. Depending on how many battle passes you had a year. With this, because obviously it's supposed to be the evolution of a battle pass for the majors.
Yes.
You're paying up to £40. That's saying if you buy it once a month, as well as the international version as well, right? So, is it worth that extra? I don't know, probably be about £15, give or take.
Me and you were talking about this when it first came out over Discord.
Right.
When I was in the car on the way home.
Yeah.
And I think we both sort of kind of agreed that it's I think one of the big issues with the battle pass system was it's kind of exploitative.
Yeah, well, there's a whole Reddit post about that if you want to go into that.
Yeah, and we did have a little bit of a chat about it, but I think the price is fair.
Yeah.
For what you get. It's not overly expensive, and I like how there's no like ability to purchase more. It's a base price per month.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And then you have your in-game credits, don't you, that go towards the skins and
you don't have to buy any skins
and all this.
Yeah. If you win games, you get shards. Shards go towards sets. So.
Yeah, and I believe you can't buy any of that with real-world money. I'm right in saying that, right?
Yeah,
at the moment.
You can't buy shards.
Again.
Not yet, like you say.
But yeah, not yet.
It's at the moment. I'll give it.
Hello,
I'll give it a
Artifact.
month.
Yeah, what could happen?
Well, on the note of that, there's that Reddit post I was talking about, which supposedly a product manager / community manager for a free-to-play game now. He could be whatever. Says it's a lot less exploitative money, guys.
Yeah.
Because there's different versions of people that buy certain amounts in games, and in the end, because you can't, as you said, buy more into it. For instance, you can't buy all these shards and whatnot.
Yeah.
They are not exploiting the people that have either the will to buy it or the need to buy it for whatever reason.
Yeah. I think one of the key things he was talking about is how the battle passes were kind of feeding on people with gambling addictions almost.
Yeah.
Because you get the levels. The Riley's wheel spin was a big thing, I think, as well.
Mm.
Because you had the chance to win a really expensive set or something. So people would buy levels, and I'm looking at the TI battle pass costs. For 24 levels, it cost the same as a level 1 battle pass itself. It was $10.
Okay.
So you buy $10 worth of levels, and you'd get another spin. And it was I could see why it'd be addicting. I think this is a better system for that.
Oh,
Obviously, the TI
yes,
Battle Pass is still coming out, like you said. So I mean,
yeah.
they
Well,
could still
sorry,
do that, but
we don't know it's coming out, but it's being theorized by a lot of people that it's still a thing because TI is crowdfunded, and
Yeah.
with this, although you could still crowdfund it with this, you probably won't get as much in the prize pool and the money on the back end to be able to pay for TI, because we all know running events is stupidly expensive.
I mean, if they didn't run that, they wouldn't be able to get the prize pool as high as it was. Again,
No, definitely not.
and they keep on breaking that prize pool, and it's stupid how much they get. Considering
Well, you got to love the
25%,
Dota community, right?
Yeah, only 25% of the sales goes towards about the prize pool, and they still made $25 million off it for the prize pool.
Oh yeah.
Like that's insane.
Well, it's the same as every battle pass
Yeah.
sport, and then if you buy more levels, I believe that went towards it as well.
Yeah. So they made $100 million off the battle pass last year.
Yeah.
Well, obviously put a quarter of it towards the prize pool, but that's still a lot of money.
Yeah. now you do the maths. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, is there anything else in the price we want to talk about, or should we move on to some of the other stuff?
It was just sort of thinking about the difference between the battle passes, stuff like that.
It's definitely an interesting topic because they're changing their system all of a sudden. I don't know if it will stick. It might just be a trial period. They might just remove it eventually, but you never know. Valve do some weird stuff with the.
I reckon it's around for the long haul.
Yeah.
I reckon it's gonna be here for a year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the bare minimum is it's here for a year because people have already paid for a year of it. So they can't be like, oh no, we're just dropping it now.
I mean, Valve are quite good with stuff like that, though. Oh, definitely. There's a lot of things you could change with it. Like, people are pointing out all these different things that are either wrong with the Dota Plus or could be added or taken away, It's definitely in its infant stage, shall we say.
Yeah. So, I think we should go through a few of the other things to do with the Dota Plus purchase. So
one thing I've been noticing as I've scrolled down the subreddit
Yeah.
is a lot of people are just posting screenshots and whatever of just terrible suggestions.
Yeah. Okay.
I've seen roaming Terrorblade.
I saw a pro for that one. It's not in a game, but yeah.
Lots of LC jungle.
Yeah.
That's because that's low level stuff. Like a lot of
Probably
lower level pubs will have LC jungles because
not a lot
they
of
saw it
Terrorblade roams, I'd assume.
Yeah.
every now and then.
Probably not.
Yeah, Terrorblade roam, probably not. But,
I saw Monkey's Forever in a pub once when he was drunk. That was funny. But, he won. But yeah, so the picture on the Dota Plus website shows on the suggestions like mid silencer, mid storm spirit, offlane native prophet, all like meta picks, like things you could see being picked, right? It's not like that in game though, is it?
oh no.
I had a bounty hunter safe lane suggestion yesterday. That was great. It doesn't seem to work particularly as well as they want, I don't think.
It's because it's real time analytics, isn't it? It's taking what every game has and where they go.
Yeah.
And then putting that into algorithms and whatnot, and then spouting it back out for the public.
Yeah. The issue is it doesn't take into account like lane swaps and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So if you're playing at a high-ish level, like anything above 4K, like 3.5K even.
Yeah.
It's hell even 3K. People at 3K have decent knowledge of the game, right?
Mm.
They'll understand how and when they need to lane swap, and that's not being taken into account by the AI that's sorting it out. So, like, if you know what I mean by that, right? So if Juggernaut's having to go top instead of bottom to try and avoid an Omni or something, it doesn't take into account that. Yeah,
Well, I from experience, we were playing a game the other night, Adam, weren't we? And I picked Underlord first. Now it told me to go down mid, which it's not horrible, but isn't its natural habitat, shall we say? It's an offlane hero. And I can see why it sort of it's not perfect because again, people lane swap, as we say, and people do fun stuff and they take the mic and all this. But by the end of the draft phase, it was putting out things that were actually correct. So, for instance, it was saying like Dragon Knight Storm Death Prophet for mid.
Yeah.
It was saying once it had its safe laner, which was the Juggernaut, it was giving out supports for the same lane. It even had a roaming suggestion, which ended up being a bounty hunter, which I thought was quite interesting because roaming's a hard one to kind of pin down because you get roamers that will sit in lanes for a couple of levels, roamers that will jump between lanes like on their first level and not pick up level 2 until sort of a couple of minutes later. So I thought that was quite a nice thing from it, although it didn't give every detail perfectly. It was learning. It was trying to adapt to what was already picked and what was there. For the counters though, I wasn't 100% sure.
No.
Now
it's not the best, is it? It's not the best system.
A lot of people in MOBAs, because again, we've all tried different MOBAs. We all play different MOBAs. A lot of people like to pick what they want to pick. So if they've got a hero or a champion in mind, they will end up most of the time picking what they want rather than what is probably I don't want to say meta pick, but the counter the counter of something that's already been picked.
Yeah, so that they have a hero in mind they want to pick, and they don't care if it's counted or not. They just want to play a certain thing.
Yeah. And so, again, I think that's why it gets a little bit skewed with what people pick against what. Is because everyone has the idea of what they want to play. Yeah. They'll go into it and go, right, that's it. That's what I want. And then someone might pick against it, and you go, oh, I'm still ready to pick that. And so there's problems with it because there's problems with people that use it.
Yeah, and we're all guilty of that, obviously.
Yeah.
I've gone into a game like, I really want to play Luna. And they'll pick like Terrorblade, who destroys Luna. I'm like, I still really want to play Luna. So everyone's got like. You're right when you say the problem with it will be people just not listening to it.
Yeah,
that's a big problem with it.
I would say it's a big problem. I just say that is part of the system. Sadly, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Yeah,
I mean, when I say big problem, I don't really, just
that is it.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Do we know if the suggestions are based off your MMR or just off of win percentages, or
you can change them? So there is, they've introduced a couple of months ago now. They introduced the new ranked system, didn't they?
Yeah.
Where they kind of went a little bit towards what League does with the Herald, Crusader, Archon, Legend, Divine. Oh no, I'm missing one or two in there, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And you can actually pick between the different skill levels.
I think it does show you the meta picks for your rank. I think it does do that.
I know if you go into the hero tab at the top, it does change by you clicking on the different badges with the respective skill levels.
So I should probably get Dota up so I can show this off, but I might do that in the background now. But if you click on a hero, it will show the different badge for different MMR ranges, and then like if you click on say Herald for Sniper, it will show Sniper's picked in 52% of the games, which actually is, that's a fact. I looked it up and it's disgusting. I'm ashamed of you Herald players.
Hey, if it works, don't you just gotta
it's
keep
got less
with
than
it.
a 50% win rate, so I mean, it sort of works, I guess.
Yeah, it does. I don't know if it's like how much it changes though, because I've not really looked into it. Because
Yeah.
there's a quest system in the game in this, which we can go over later if we want, which like makes you sort of look around the Dota Plus system and use the Dota Plus system in its different areas. So it's like, oh, go have a look at the heroes tab and see what different heroes are like at different skill levels, and it gives you a couple of them shards, and it's like, oh, like, you know, fancy and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it does seem to work. I think it's like a decent system to be able to see what it's like at higher levels, because I'm an Archon player, or I've got an Archon skill level. Probably not anymore because I haven't played it in a while. But it if I wanted to try and farm at a legend level that this system so supposedly kind of says, because it gives you like an aim of where you should be at certain times in the game, which runs real time. So it's like your net worth should be this at like at say minute 10 and minute 15 and so on.
Yeah.
And the same with the last hits and like your KDAs. It's saying like, oh, you should really be trying to look for kills at this point, because this is when your hero's like strong. This is when it should be making work around the map, or so on and so on. So I think it's a decent system and it works, but again, could probably be done a little bit better here and there.
Yeah. So let me just get this up. So I have the client open on stream currently.
Mm-hmm.
So if you click on a hero, it shows trends, and it shows the pick rate, win rate, and ban rate at your MMR range.
Okay.
As well
I didn't
as the
realize
average of your kills, deaths, assists, GPM, XPM, last hits, denies.
Yeah.
And what talents people pick, basically.
Oh yeah, that had a percentage picker next to it as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
I realised.
Right.
They really like percentages at Battle, apparently.
Yeah.
What's the percentage was getting Half-Life 3? Going on him.
Big old round zero.
Hey, they're developing games now. Leave them alone. They'll be out soon. It's Valve time.
On the note of like the stuff that you get from the assistant with like the analytics sort of area.
Yep.
I've not seen it yet, but so there is the spectator win probability graph.
Now this is weird. This is really weird.
What?
Yeah.
I'll open
I'll
up
let
again.
Adam.
I'll open
Go
up
on,
again,
Adam.
Willie.
Basically, it's well, it says what it is on the tin. Really, it gives you a probability of a team winning at the point that you're watching via
Right.
a graph.
Okay.
Like that's pretty much what it is. Like,
Yeah.
it's done on all the numbers, which in the end doesn't mean a lot when people are the one controlling it. Because
yeah,
as we all know, humans can mess up. It's not.
and also it's sort of a. It basically tells Nahaz he's wrong when he says stats don't lie. Shout out Nahaz. No, because I was talking to Tom yesterday, I think it was, and we were watching a game, and it showed that the Radiant team was like 15k ahead or something, but they were losing their barracks, and they hadn't taken away the barracks themselves. And it's because they had like an Aegis Prophet and a Tinker who were taking up the entire map's farm and weren't doing anything with it because it's an Aegis Prophet and a Tinker, right? So
yeah.
Andrew would like to know at them low level skill games.
So right now on this screen, the Dire has an 8k lead. So if I open up the probability chart, it shows them having like an 80% win chance, 84% win chance there, right? Even though they're not doing that badly on the Radiant side. So it's kind of weird,
Mm.
and it's not. Like they just got to kill him a carry. The carry's dead for a minute, and it's gone up 1%. The probability of them winning is gone up 1% on the radio.
Right.
Like they just got a really big kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit it's a nice idea to give people an idea of where a game's going.
Yeah.
But the problem is there are a lot of factors that go into it, and some of them cannot be quantified by a system or an algorithm. As I said, you got people that make mistakes purely because they get distracted, or I mean, I can say it when I watch a stream or I've got the game on at the same time. I might notice that, look back, and I'm dead.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's so many different factors that can come into it that end up turning a game where that system can't predict, basically, which kind of can be a problem.
It makes the assumption that the team's kind of skill level is going to continue at the same level it is now, and that no mistakes are ever going to be made by either team.
Yeah.
And then that just doesn't work because even the best players in the world have made mistakes and will make mistakes. So it's kind of like it's like you say, it's a good approximation of who will win, but it's not to be taken kind of as law.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to say it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of. I don't think it's particularly necessary because you've got the net worth chart there, and if a team's like 15k more lead, they're like 90% gonna win anyway. Really, you think? But
that though,
it can be deceiving.
That requires people to understand how the net worth works. And like this is another learning. I wouldn't say learning like system or like to help with that, but it gives people that don't understand all the different numbers and areas in the game and go, right, I know this game's winning because they're up 15k. They have 10 levels over the other team, this, that, and everything that goes with it. This provides a dumbed down version of that, I would say. In the end, if they see the line in the dire area, they're gonna go, right, well, the Dire's winning, right? But the Dire aren't winning because Radiant's taking the second lane of racks or whatever. It's a lot. I think I'll say this again. A lot of this thing is to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
it's very nice. It seems like it's been implemented fairly well. There's a few bugs. Everyone's pointed that out, but everything that comes with it doesn't work in every area.
Yeah,
and it's when it works, wow, it's great. When it doesn't work, well, why isn't it working?
Yeah,
that's what everyone seems to be looking at, sadly.
So
it seems to be a good sort of ballpark kind of area to take inspiration from for what you're doing in your game. But like you say, it's not ever going to be perfect.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna speak about the sets and stuff quickly. Just quickly, like shards and stuff. So when you open the thing up and you complete all the welcome quests, which you can't yet, by the way, because you need to play a battle cup and it's not the weekend yet. You get overall 21,600 shards.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a lot, but when you look at the price of the new sets released, it's 75k. So I'm not sure how much you have to grind games to get sets and challenges and stuff, but it's quite expensive,
I mean, aren't the hero quests giving you shards as well?
Yeah, but the hero quests are kind of ridiculous in some people. Like,
I'm not saying they're not. I mean,
No.
the one again, I'm going back to this Underlord game. I had one for the atrophy aura, whatever, get like a maximum amount, and it was like 100, 175, and 250.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the points were, but going by what they were in the battle pass, they were like 2, 4, and 600, like stuff like that. Which, if you're playing a game, if you play 10 games, and you get everyone to max, you're getting about 6 to 8k, I'd guess.
Yeah.
Which I know it's a lot of commitment, but you have to remember all these sets technically cost money.
Yeah.
That's how Dota's sustained itself a long time.
Could be worse. You could be grinding for Operators in Siege with Starter Edition.
We could go into that, but that'd be...
let's save that.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. I get what you mean. It's a lot to get to, but you got to give it a fair amount, because it's still money, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's still...
And to be fair, the legacy sets, they've got sets from the past returning that aren't on sale anymore. I think that's a really cool system, and they're a lot cheaper. So like, I got a Timbersaw set for 5,000 shards, which I've been wanting for a while, but it's really expensive on the market.
Yeah.
So it's gonna crash the market because people get it for free now, pretty much. But that's a different story. Fuck you, Valve market system.
I don't mind it. I mean, obviously it's gonna mess with the game's economy in certain areas, but it gives a few people, I don't say nostalgia because that's probably the right word for it, but like you get to look back at some of the stuff that you might have missed. I mean, a lot of the old treasure systems that used to be in the game, I don't think you can get many of them anymore.
No, you can't.
So it's a nice way to, I might have a second chance at picking up that set I really wanted, but I could never get because it was either a luck-based system or I didn't have the money at the time to pay for the treasure to get it and so on. So
I just miss level up presents, to be honest. Level 1 level up present. Here you go, have a present for free. Yeah. Relics are weird.
I've not really had a lot of time.
Yeah. You can purchase a random relic on a hero for 800 shards, and it will note down how much damage you've done in a certain thing. So, like, Juggernaut, I've done 845 crit damage with him so far since I got this relic, right?
Yeah.
And it'll display that in profile. If you go on my Juggernaut page, it will say that.
Okay.
Or, like, spells disjointed with Manta, or kills during BKB, stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. I don't really care that much about it because it's whatever. But
I guess if someone only uses like 2 or 3 heroes, it might be useful. I say useful. Might be nice for them to show that they get so many heals out of this one game. Say you play Dazzle. I mean, who makes Dazzle? But still,
it's for bragging rights, isn't it?
Yeah. In essence, it is bragging rights.
If there was like a ranking system for it throughout, like, if there was like a leaderboard throughout your rank, so I'm the best legend player on this person for this sort of thing. Very, very pretty cool, I think. But
that's but there's some things that people have been saying they wanted.
Yeah.
That's no.
If I get implemented, Valve, I'm suing you. But yeah, that's kind of most of the rewards talked about, I think. Let me just scroll down quickly. I'm not sure I've covered everything, but we've talked a lot about it now, so...
Yeah, I mean, but it's a lot to take in, isn't it? I mean, the only other thing, really, is the Battle Pass. Not Battle Pass, Battle Cup. That's the word.
I'm glad that's back, to be honest.
Yeah, I am. I mean, it was a nice thing whenever I got a Saturday off of work to be able to do. It gave, I know for us anyway, the chance to play in a more competitive setting.
Yeah.
Because we all, we've all watched competitive Dota at one point or I know me and Adam watch it probably a lot more than you, Chris.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, I've watched it.
Yeah, and it's a nice feeling to know, right, we're actually playing it more seriously.
Yeah, take it seriously. Go through like drafting and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, think about things seriously rather than just messing around and having a laugh. Like, I mean, obviously it's
And-
fun to have a laugh anyway, but I mean,
Yeah, no, you still have laugh jokes, but
yeah,
it's also a lot more. I don't want to say intense, but competitive. Like it
Yeah.
shows the other side of Dota,
Yeah.
which you don't always get when you're playing all pick with a bunch of random people, maybe one other friend. Yeah.
agreed.
And the fact that you can still enter the Battle Cup even if you don't have this.
Yeah, I mean that was a regular thing anyway. If I remember.
It was, but it wasn't as open to, as in like it wasn't as known. Because I remember when we were doing it, one of our Scott, we weren't sure if he could play it, wasn't
Yeah, we had to like try and
Yeah,
figure
we
out
were-
if we could. I guess yeah, that's a good point.
it? It's a lot more. This I'm gonna say this now. This new system is a lot more open about what people get and what happens. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like they don't hide the fact that you can buy one-off, like months. You can buy like gifts for people. Like it's not like all like shady. Like don't let them know that they can buy like 1 month. It's always got to be like annual stuff.
Yeah.
But it's I like that bit about it
So-
at least. Much of a
Let's just talk about the price there. So you get free entry if you buy the Dota Plus.
yeah.
So it's 99 cents a pop. So that's about $4 if you do it 4 times a month. So you could just say it covers the entire cost of the Battle Cup, really, if you just
Yeah, we
do
said
that.
that.
Yeah. The prize for winning is special emoticon pack, which was what you got when you won it previously. Profile accolades, that you got that previously, and you get 20,000 shards.
I believe you got
Each.
that for the battle pass as well.
Yeah, you
But
got some levels. I
Their
think they
their
do
own
something.
currency of it or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
I think you got some levels or something.
Yeah.
Which I think that's perfectly fine. Sounds reasonable. You know, less grind is nice.
I think
Um,
they've shied away from the Battle Cup qualifier thing
yeah, the
because of
yeah,
how much of a cock up it was. Let's put it that way.
if you did you know about that, Chris?
Not
Okay.
really.
So for I think it was TI, if you won the Battle Cup in your region, you were invited to the Champions Cup, which is obviously champions of the Battle Cups
Yeah.
playing each other. I mean, the Champions Cup winner would get invited to the regional qualifiers for TI,
Okay.
which is fine, except it was exploited quite a lot. I think a couple of teams, including notably Alliance, did it, where they just played the Battle Cup
Yeah.
and then just stomped everybody and
Yeah.
got a free regional qualifier invite because they weren't going to qualify for Opens because there were so many good European teams then. Not anymore, but
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly. It's.
I mean,
it's
it's
better.
weird. I think the way you counteract that is you just say if you've played X amount of either Valve sponsored or official tournaments, you can't be entered into the regional
Yeah.
qualifier or whatever. But yeah, I think this system's probably better.
It was also a lot of teams ended up missing like certain ones because some regions didn't even have them, and they just got postponed and never put on. I remember that happening.
Don't think South America ever got a Battle Cup last term.
Yeah,
Southeast
South
Asia
America-
got delayed every week.
yeah. South America's I don't want to say an up and coming region because it's been around for a while, but it's only been noted recently.
It's hitting the spotlight a bit more now.
Yeah.
Mainly because of Valve demanding every region has an invite or
At
regional
least has a
qualifier spot.
chance of having. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also huge how NA and SA got separated at last as well, because even like, I mean, who's the best South American team? Like Infamous or Pain Gaming or something like that.
Yeah, one of the two.
SG Esports as well. They'd be stuck against like Complexity or Optic in a qualifier previously, and they'd be screwed. But now they have their own spot and they can,
Well,
you know.
it wasn't more they were screwed. More that the ping difference
Yeah, that's
was a big problem. I mean, off the top of my head, I remember, I think it was PPD during a game wouldn't play in a South American
he
server.
refused to play on a Brazilian server.
That was it, yeah, because like his ping was too high.
I think they had like 200 ping, but then the Brazilian players had to play a 200 ping every game anyway.
Yeah, so it was, but it's a nice thing, isn't it, that every region gets, and
it gives everyone a chance to be in the spotlight and make a name for themselves, I guess, and I like that. It's good. I think that's kind of why Timado has been rising a little bit and joining teams in Europe and NA recently and stuff. Cause he's actually got a spotlight. He went to TI and stuff. So
yeah, they did well to you. Yeah.
That's cool. There's a new terrain. Don't really care.
Yeah. It's probably lag out. You probably do your FPS in.
It looks pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, yeah, it's a bit shitty. The other big thing is hero progression and leveling. When you play a hero, a certain amount of times you get a level, you get XP for playing him.
Oh right, yeah, and you have a little badge above it, don't you?
And then when you level that person up, you get voice chat wheel lines. So people are going to spam the Skywrath Mage from the Ghastly Eerie, this game is in the bag line, which goes on for 12 minutes when you're ready to win on Skywrath Mage. So there you go. Also, just one thing that really annoys me about that is Monkey King, and this is on Reddit, I'm taking it from Reddit, I'm sorry. Monkey King's most famous line is on his chat wheel when he says, "I need no introduction." It's kind of upsetting, but I'll live it, I'm sure. Yeah, so that's Dota Plus. We spoke about that for like 45 minutes, 50 minutes. 50 minutes,
wow, yeah.
Okay.
It's a big subject.
It's a big topic.
Right, and there's a lot of talk around what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to go on to a different topic now. ESL One in Birmingham. That's
UK major.
woo, hype. Just
England is my city.
I'm just gonna
apparently this year anyway.
Yeah. Just gonna put my own.
I was gonna say I'm casually watching stream, Adam, just to make sure I'm fine. I
Plug
see
in
a
my
little
own
bit of
article.
self promotion.
Just plug in my own Gosu Gamers article. ESL announced next major is ESL One Birmingham. Just saying, guys, go read it at gosugamers.net. Thank you very much. So this is some pretty cool news. Following on from CS:GO recently announcing the Face It major is going to be in London. Dota
September,
had to top it. Yeah, Dota had to go and top it. Valve were like, we can't have, you know, our one game being overrepresented in one country. We got to have both now, right? So, Birmingham, what do you think?
I mean, we've had this conversation.
We have.
And everyone has their own stance on it. So I'm just going to put that out there before we start.
Yeah, we all have differing opinions, I think, on this.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I think Chris is more leaning to what I'm about to say, but
I imagine so, yeah.
I wouldn't have had Birmingham as my first choice of cities in the UK to pick. Now, I understand it's the second largest city. Like, I'm fully aware of that. And I'm aware of where it is in the UK, which I think was one of your bigger points, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
But it wouldn't be my first choice. I would because the UK is not as large as other countries. It's not as hard to move around England and the UK. Like granted, it still cost a fair whack. I would have thought London or Manchester would have been on their ticket of where to go. Now, granted, they like places might have been booked up for the time that this was booked, and that will obviously be a contributing factor of where they pick to go and whatnot. But Birmingham isn't always known as the nicest city in the UK. Can we all at least agree on that? Like,
Oh yeah, we definitely can.
I'm not trying to make Birmingham look like the worst city in the world to be, but it's not. It's been known for certain problems here and there. So that was partly why I thought that. Let's go with Chris because I think he's a bit more on my side before we go to the opposing arguments.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think your internet broke up a little bit, but the gist of it, I assumed, was Birmingham isn't the greatest city to have a large esports tournament in, but there are some merits to it. As I'm assuming that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm leaning more towards Birmingham's okay because, as we've said before, it's very central. There's like 1,000,001 public transport routes in and out of Birmingham, including an international airport and like Birmingham New Street and Birmingham International train station. My main issue is with the actual venue and why it's Birmingham Arena rather than the NEC. I know Birmingham Arena, whatever it's called, is like it's right in the heart of kind of central Birmingham. It's very near to the Bullring and Birmingham New Street station. But also the NEC is like 6 times the size.
It is.
And
just to say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know what sort of attendance they're expecting for ESL, but I would assume quite a bit. But I don't know. It's like if you say like it is booked out, if the NEC is booked out for those dates, then that's fair enough. But also the NEC is massive. Like I've been to EGX and Insomnia where there've been multiple different kind of conventions and stuff going on there.
Yeah, I think my point here would be the NEC would require them to do their own handiwork in a lot of ways.
To be like stage setting up.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
whereas the Arena Birmingham is stage, seats, like stage floor, that's it, done. Cool. It's I think the arena has a capacity of like 16,000.
It's like 15,800, I believe.
Yeah, which is I think a pretty good range for them to expect. I think for a tournament in the UK, like do we know how many people went to League in London? Do we have any idea?
No idea.
I can't remember when it was.
I'll have a look quickly. Yeah.
It was Wembley Arena, and I think the arena was sold out.
Wembley Arena has less capacity.
Yeah.
It has I think 12,500 to the like 15,800 as Lee said. So if that's all, obviously the league player base is bigger altogether. There's no denying that.
Sadly.
Well, I mean they're both different games, you know. That's what
You're part of it now, Lee. You can't say that.
Yeah. Continue.
But I don't think they'll expect to sell out, which is why I don't think they chose a bigger venue. If they got 10,000 people, they'd be more than happy, I'm sure, and that's a good baseline. considering Dota's nowhere near the biggest esport, I think it would go like CS:GO, League, Dota in the UK.
In the UK,
Like-
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Overwatch probably just below that.
Maybe.
Um,
I don't know
maybe.
anymore.
I don't know if
I don't
Overwatch
know.
even is classed in the UK.
I mean,
But,
it's
yeah.
probably the fourth biggest, despite it
Yeah.
not being that big.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good place for it to be held. As you said, it's central Birmingham. It's a nice. It's actually a really nice venue, to be fair. But
Mm.
yeah, it's an interesting one. It's definitely interesting.
So, I don't know if it's single or double LM.
Single
I've
link.
not- Single LM, right.
Group stage on the 23rd and 24th of May.
I was just about to get to that. So it's only now, from what I've read, the tickets are the same as Katowice, I believe. Katowice, sorry.
Katowice.
Feature, yeah.
Katowice. Oh, I can't even say it. Anyway, I'm just gonna from now on. It's going to be Poland major.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
It's 2 quarterfinals, 2 semifinals, and a third place and a final.
Yeah.
Instead of the entire playoff bracket being played in front of a live audience.
So you're getting 6 series.
Yep. Thoughts? Anyone?
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're not paying an extortionate amount to go. You know, a day ticket's £19.
What was it? It was like 39 for the weekend.
£39 for the entire weekend,
Yeah.
and that's with like opportunities to hopefully get a signing session.
Yeah.
It's not
stuff like that,
guaranteed.
yeah.
You have
No.
to queue up and hope. But it's, I mean, I think it's decently priced.
Yeah, I don't mind the price. I don't mind the price. It's just
No.
It's a bit suckish. Like, I think you should at least have all the quarterfinals on there. You're only having half the quarterfinal matches.
Mm.
Like, it's a bit dodgy
don't-
to me, but
I don't know why ESL have sort of started to go this way because they're starting to do it with all their tournaments, aren't they?
yeah,
They're only doing, and I get there's time constraints. I'm fully aware of that as well.
Yeah.
But it seems like if you can play, what's it? So a best of 3, right, for a quarterfinal, right?
Yeah.
Usually that takes 2 hours,
best of 3
2.5,
with a break, probably like max 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
right?
If the games aren't an hour long each.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I understand that tournaments run over, and
Yeah.
they're probably trying to counteract that because they probably have fines for going over there a lot of times and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But well, it's a 12-hour day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without for the players anyway. So it'd be like say start at 9 o'clock, end at 9 o'clock. Now
Yeah.
obviously stuff goes over and whatnot. I would like to think that people can do that. I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah. I think that's actually another reason why I like the venue so much. Is, I mean, I personally wouldn't be doing this for obvious reasons, but like, if we were to go,
Mm.
like, you could go watch a series you want to watch, go out, have a drink, have some food in central Birmingham.
Yeah.
You're 2 minutes walk away, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't have to spend the whole day there. That's the good thing about it. Like,
Mm.
and it's only 3 days, the actual main stage, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'd
it's-
like to like have the whole tournament on there and have the chance, but I think they did that for Cologne in 2016,
Mm.
and like 500 people showed up to the group stage or something. Like, it wasn't a lot of people there.
I'm not talking at
Yeah.
group stage. I was just
No,
Yeah,
I just mean
the
like
playoffs,
together. Yeah.
yeah, because the sad bit about the single limb is once you're out, you're out.
Yeah.
Right. And say you're a hard. I don't really know esports fans like personally, like to the fact that they've turned up. But your team, you might miss your team. Like,
Yeah.
say if you're a hardcore OG fan and they get knocked out.
Get knocked out in the
Right.
open qualifiers.
Well, you know, but
Carry on.
you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, you buy the ticket. Say you buy just the day ticket to go see them on the final, on the quarterfinal, sorry, right? And you find out that they're not playing on that day, right? So for one, you're missing your team anyway, right? Say you get the full day weekend ticket to see them, right? They're not on Friday, right? You can deal with that because they can possibly get to Saturday.
Yeah.
But if they don't get to Saturday, you've missed out on your team.
Yeah.
As a sports fan, if you take this in that sort of sense, that's quite annoying. It's like,
yeah.
yes, you appreciate the good sport. You appreciate what you're watching. Like, I'll sit here and watch any Dota game possible. But if OG or EG come on, I'll probably flick over to them rather than VP Navi for whatever reason, just because I prefer them as a team.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you miss out on your teams, it can be a bit of a problem. It's not as nice. It's something to think about, I guess.
What
I
about?
mean-
My mind just went when I was going to say that. My apologies.
Well, it's that's the gist
What?
of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was it. What do you think of it being a 12-team major?
Or was it 6 invites, 6 regionals?
6 invites, 6 regional qualifiers, 1 from each region.
I don't mind it. I mean, what's it? So 4 get sent home after group stages, right?
Bottom 2, I assume it's groups of 6, and then bottom 2 teams from each group get
Each
sent
group
home.
get not sent home again. It's not horrible. It's like it's obviously not nice not being able to get through to playoffs, but in the end, that's what they're there to do. They're there to win. They can't win.
Yeah. The issue
Probably-
is, I wouldn't have been happy with it like a week ago. I'm kind of okay with it now after PGL Bucharest.
Oh, where they sent 8 teams home
They sent 8 teams home, and
without paying them, right?
without paying them anything.
Yeah. Sorry, without winning anything.
Yeah, I guess. But like, it was also a lot of players were unhappy that they played 5 days straight of just one best of one a day.
Yeah.
Like, if you can get, as a spectator, from a spectator point of view, if you can get 12 teams and one group plays a best of 3 each day at least, maybe 2, because you can fit that in a day, I think, easily.
Yeah.
You could get 3 best of 3s in a day, right? Probably 4 or 5 really, but I mean,
it
you probably
depends.
want 3.
3 is the safe number.
Yeah, 3. You
Like,
could
with
do half a
unlimited.
group stage in a day, and then another half the other day, and then you have to like. But basically, the group stage could take 4 days, but you could fit 3 a best of 3 each in. It's a lot better than just best of 1s, I think.
I think if you could still stick with a best one. I know it's not nice if you have to do a best one each day, but you could do like a best of 1, like in the morning at like say 10 o'clock. Like I'm talking like UK time. Like so, if you say at 10 o'clock, then you do another one at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then you do another one at like 4 o'clock. Right. The same amount of series that we say.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go through the best of 3 bit because that can take a lot out of you.
Yeah.
It also means you're not stuck there for 5 days, PGL, which, although was a very good tournament in my opinion, like that was their kind of pitfall, I guess.
Took a while.
Yeah. What was it? It was Saturday to Wednesday,
Something like that.
right?
Something like that.
And then Thursday off, and then it was Friday, Sunday. Yeah. It's a long time to be in. Was it Bucharest? So
yeah, nice city. To be fair, nice city.
oh, it's a nice city. I'm not saying it's not, but if you go there and you end up winning anything, it can feel like a wasted opportunity or not a waste of time, but like that you could have been, I don't know, training for another major or another minor, like that happens in a week or 2. because we all know the system's like chock-a-blocked with tournaments.
It is, yes. That's most of the Dota stuff covered, I think. Who do you think will be invited? Just a prediction.
VP.
VP
straight up.
definitely first invite done.
BGJ.
BGJ, yeah, got to the finals.
They got to the finals, and the fact that they're just because of that, they're like the number one team. Everyone's like, oh wow, VGJ.
Yeah.
Especially
The other
because
one.
they dropped their team recently.
Yeah.
Got a new one.
The other one would be Newbie, right? You could. They have a safe Chinese invite, really.
Yeah.
Right? Liquid or Secret, one or the other.
I was gonna say Liquid. You'll probably have to do an NA team, and that will probably end up being EG.
Probably will be EG. They get third or fourth place or something, fifth place. I don't
They
remember.
were somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, they lost to. No, they lost to Liquid, didn't they? I think they lost in the quarter.
Yeah.
So they're like
okay.
fifth to eighth or whatever. I can't remember, so don't take my word for it. But
I'll take your word for it.
great.
Then obviously Southeast Asia qualifier, which is could be Mineski or Fnatic, one of the two.
Well, Fnatic just won Star Ladder today, so they're
Okay.
definitely up for it. Yeah, they beat
I didn't know it
TNC.
was on today. Oops, okay.
Well, it was the SEA Invitational SEA qualifiers, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Fnatic won 2-1 over at TNC.
Okay. South America, God knows who they're. I mean, there's been like 6 major lands now, and there's been 6 different SA teams or something. Like Sacred got to the summit, and then Infamous went to Katowice. Pain went to Bucharest or something. I don't know. It was stupid. But yeah, that's about it for Dota. Overwatch.
Yay!
Let's go. We have been meaning to talk about Overwatch for a very long time.
Ever since we came up with the idea of this podcast, basically.
Yeah. And we have delayed it and delayed it and delayed it, but
I assume we're starting with the most recent thing.
yeah, let's do the most clickbaity thing we can do. Let's go.
Hype. Okay, I guess do you want me to lead this?
Yeah, lead it. Go for it.
Alright. As I've got the Overwatch disciplinary action open, March 9th, 4 players in the Overwatch League were given disciplinary actions. Taimu, Tyrong, and Silkthread, all of varying teams, were fined for various things. Taimu fined $1,000 for anti-gay slurs. Tyrong for posting offensive memes about, I would have to assume, something to do with Hiroshima, because then he made a donation to the Hiroshima Peace Culture Foundation.
I saw that one, it was weird.
And Silkthread $1,000 for account sharing. Those are all fairly kind of run-of-the-mill stuff.
Yeah.
And then we have xQc's second disciplinary action. Effective March 12th, he is suspended for 4 matches and fined $4,000. However, that was until Dallas Fuel dropped him.
Yeah.
Which is entirely reasonable by Dallas Fuel, and I can't understand why they would ever get hate for it. Because not only is it negative on your organization to have a player like xQc on the team, it's negative in terms of
you just kind of,
and you can't develop synergy with someone who's just not there.
Yeah.
So he is now back to just streaming at the moment. There has been rumors that he's being picked up by another team. I think San Francisco Shock, but those are literally just rumors and like randomly stated things. There's no hard evidence there. So I think we talk about the main thing he did, which was posting the Tryhard 7 Twitch emote, while Malik Forte the sound engineer for Overwatch League was on screen.
Hmm.
I have read Malik's Twitter thread, which I'll link for you now if you want. The I won't read out all of it, but the gist of it is that he doesn't think the emote's racist in any way, but using it solely whenever there's a black person on screen is incredibly insensitive. He's not personally aggravated by it, but he's kind of disappointed by how immature people are being about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the gist of it from Malik. He's kind of goes on a bit more. There was the I believe I linked it to you the other day, Adam.
Yeah.
The Twitter thread of Monte Cristo saying he was offering to kind of help xQc reform.
Yeah.
Is a way I would put it. And xQc having kind of bailed on because it was Monte Cristo offered to go to lunch with xQc and talk to him about how he can improve his mannerisms, etc., etc. xQc didn't show up. I actually found out today while we were talking about the Dota stuff that xQc 2 hours before he was meant to meet Monte Cristo got the ruling that he was being what's the word I'm looking for? Not kicked off, but like being let go from Dallas Fuel. So that's why he didn't turn up, but he also didn't tell Monty that was what's happening. And Monty, kind of generally being an alright kind of guy, was like, that's fair enough. The offer still stands if you want me to help you. And that's xQc up to now.
Okay. So, to me, he sounds a little bit like someone who's made his name streaming, which he has, right?
Yep.
As a really good player, and just hasn't transitioned well at all to being a pro.
Yeah, I think I saw a clip of him, the Twitch clip, that was him basically saying he was raised by Twitch chat, and Twitch chat's the only thing he's ever known, which is, I mean, I feel kind of bad saying it, but it's incredibly sad. Like, he seems like he might be an alright kind of guy if he wasn't just solely raised by Twitch chat and Twitch memes.
Yeah.
And like you say, he didn't transition well into being a pro. He had no idea the kind of responsibility you have to kind of uphold when you're in that position, and how to conduct yourself in a professional atmosphere.
That's the gist of it, isn't it?
That is the gist of it, yeah.
Like, esports is getting to a point now where everything you say and do is monitored. You are, for all intents and purposes, the face of the company.
Yeah.
You are the ones that people see. You are the ones that people want to interact with. Whatever you say rubs off on your company, your team, whoever runs whatever you work for. So him coming out with all of this all this, as you said, is then pushed back onto, what was it, Dallas Fuel, you said?
Yeah,
he played for?
His team was Dallas Fuel.
Yeah. Now, obviously, they're owned by whichever esports company owned Dallas Fuel.
Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly.
An esports company, hang on.
You know what I mean? Whichever company or whatever owns Dallas Fuel.
Team Envy.
Are then seen of employing someone.
So Team Envious, yeah.
Team Envious, okay. So it's an esports team this time.
That have these so-called opinions or think that this is okay to say and whatnot. and makes it look like they think it's okay,
Yeah.
which it's not, is it?
I mean, it's not
just,
like
it's just not.
there's no like kind of beating around the bush. It's not
Yeah.
alright to post racially disparaging emotes when there's a black guy on the screen, and only when there's a black guy on the screen.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, when there's anyone on the screen, but like in this situation, it happened to be Malik.
And now people look at gaming and gamers as, I don't want to say immature, but not as sort of mainstream really at the moment, right?
Yeah, there's less of a mainstream acceptance
Yeah,
than I think gamers would like, but there's still kind of this, and there's still this not animosity.
stigma.
Yeah, there's still the stigma around gaming, and that like
Yeah,
you're not as mature as other people if you
exactly.
game. It's like, okay, whatever.
Right. And because of that, he's obviously taken. He had a persona, right? I'm not wrong in thinking that because I haven't paid attention to this as much as you did.
xQc.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of his streams. His streams were incredibly hyperactive.
Right.
I think one of the description boxes below the stream was "No, I'm not on drugs." So I think that gives you a fairly solid idea of what his personality was like. He was when I watched him, he was sort of all over the place, sort of like yelling at teammates. He was yelling at people he was in parties with, but like I don't know if it was banter or if it was just him getting mad, which isn't a great.
It doesn't help the situation either way, does it?
Doesn't.
Like the fact that you're seen as this kind of person, this even energetic, if you want to put it in that sense. The fact that you're very open, very extrovert, very very willing to say stuff. You've got to be careful about what you say, and that's he clearly hasn't got the filter between. Well, he probably does, but his filter doesn't think to go, oh, that's probably not a good idea, because the other reason is, will this get the laugh? Will this be entertaining? Will this make my, I don't want to say business, but will
I get more money from this?
Basically? Yeah, in the end,
am I gonna see this spammed in Twitch chat, and then more people come to my stream and give me money?
Exactly, and that, don't want to say that's what every streamer does, but professional streamers are technically a business. They're the face of the business, and everything they do reflects on what people see of that business and who would like to interact with it, shall we say.
Yeah, it's constantly in the back of their mind. If I do this, then then is it gonna affect me in a positive way or whatever?
He's probably gone from, again, I'm more of an opinion than actual fact, he's probably gone from being the energetic person to being the person that not shouts at teammates, but probably like, is very willing to tell teammates what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right and whatnot, to pushing it further and further until he's reached a line that he's crossed, in this case, and is unacceptable to the outside world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. I imagine if I searched long enough, I could probably find an article somewhere saying that he caused discourse in Dallas Fuel or something, and like made it awkward for other players or something. I imagine that's something that I could find, but I don't have the evidence for that, so that's not something I'm gonna say.
Having such an eccentric person on your team, I guess it could cause issues, like you're saying. It just doesn't seem sensible, the whole situation. Like it feels like if he just took a moment to think about what he was doing, it could completely be avoided. But he just didn't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the end, he didn't think.
Like, you literally could think, I've been punished once, I've been suspended once for saying something stupid. Should I post this? Should I post this meme? Probably not. Oh well, I'm gonna do it anyway, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's the logical thought process of someone that isn't in the kind of Twitch chat mentality is, I said something bad before, I got fined and suspended for it. Should I post this thing in Twitch chat in a public forum where other people can see it? Oh no, that'll get me suspended and fined again.
common sense would usually prevail there, right?
Like that's the point where it stops, and then I imagine xQc just didn't quite have the filter that was like, oh no, just do that. That's fine. There's not a problem with that. And then like a few days later, it's like, oh, I got fined and suspended. Whoops.
Okay. He just didn't seem to think at all, I guess.
Yeah. It's almost like he's never spoken to someone in PR in his entire life.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Like throughout this entire thing with xQc, like my one thought has been, just hire a PR guy.
Yeah.
And then you go back into the Overwatch League. Like, you can afford it. You make so much money from streaming, you can afford it. Just as soon as you're like debating posting something, send it to them and be like, should I post this? 99% of the time they'll come back with either here's a changed version or no. Just no.
Yeah, there's like one word I think of when I'm thinking of this, like him, and it's just misguided.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't seem to understand the consequences of what he's doing, and if he had someone, like you're saying, a PR person to say, probably shouldn't post that, mate, it might get you in trouble again, he'd be fine. But he just doesn't know he needs to do that, I don't think. And man, raised in Twitch chat,
that was his almost direct quote. It was, I was raised in Twitch chat, it's all I know.
That's a sad time.
One thing we've actually got positive out of, not necessarily this whole thing, but esports in general, is player unions are becoming more of a kind of prominent idea in people's minds.
This has been a hot topic recently, hasn't it? Because of Overwatch.
Basically because of the 4 finings and suspensions. Suspensions. People have gone, oh, maybe we should have a players union so that this doesn't get unfairly taken out of proportion. Article on ESPN actually, if you want it, about Bright's Player Association is sort of the headline is laying the groundwork for
this is it,
for a player union. So whether this is going to be a external organization from Riot, or whether this is just going to be purely based in internally in Riot Games and used just for the NALCS or the LCS in general, I'm not 100% sure.
The problem with that is because the game is a product, it's fully owned by the company that makes it, so in this case Riot. So they have full rights to basically like telling people if they're banned from the games and like suspending people and all this and all that, like what's happened with the Overwatch League. And so unions wouldn't matter because they have the full right to the game. And so like you could go about like this whole thing about, oh, people have paid for the game or whatnot, so they have rights as well, and they do, and it's a whole thing. But in the end, the company that makes the game owns the right to the game, and how it works around that.
Yeah, that's the main counter argument I've been seeing for not for player unions not happening
Yeah.
is that games are an IP and they are owned.
Yeah.
Whereas if unions from actual
Yeah.
jobs, like manual labor jobs, happen because the workers are more needed.
Yeah.
Like, you can just replace an Overwatch League player. Like, let's be completely honest. Like right
you
now,
could replace almost any esports player out there with someone else. I mean, take
Like-
Dota for instance. You got so many people floating around as free agents.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Contracts just aren't a thing in esports properly yet.
no. I know Riot Games has started doing them.
Yeah,
and
they
I,
brought
I,
out
I wrote a whole thing about it. But
cheeky little plug.
the issue it's not published anywhere. I'm not plugging anything.
Get it published, I'll plug it right now.
the issue with the contracts ended up being Riot not subsidizing enough to be able for teams to be able to afford it.
Yeah.
So there has to be this balance between, if contracts happen, they have to be subsidized properly.
Mm.
Which is where the player unions come in, as you don't necessarily have to have a contract, but a player union can secure your place almost as well. I'm not going to say as well, because if you still do something like xQc, you're still going to get penalized for it. But it's a kind of middle ground, I think.
It's a nice step. I think it's a step in the right direction. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
Right.
it's something that's been needed for a long time.
It's without using the word exploiting, because they're not exploiting, but without having people like take part in games and whatnot at competitive level, and then being told that, oh yeah, you're kicked now for whatever reason, or that you're suspended from this game by Riot or Overwatch in the case of the couple of players that got suspended and fined and all that. It's the right idea, but I'm going to say again, it comes down to the fact that the companies own the games and the companies have the final say. And there's no league,
Definitely.
without going into detail, I doubt there's much an association will be able to do if that is how it continues.
Yeah, I think laws would have to kind of drastically change in how esports athletes, we'll call them athletes because technically they are, how esports athletes are treated in terms of not necessarily being owned by the companies that make the games, but how they're treated in a professional manner.
Yeah.
Because if they're expecting the players to be professional, they also can't then just
start turning around and just do what they want. Yeah.
They can't just terminate a contract or whatever for no reason. Like, there has to be someone that's fighting for the players.
Yeah.
That isn't just an employee of Blizzard or Riot or Valve or whoever.
Yeah.
There needs to be this third party kind of, not necessarily middleman, but the advocate, effectively.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're trying to suspend this person, but, and then like give a counter argument as to why.
I think the contracts are a slightly better way of going about it at the moment, anyway, because obviously each team are their own entity, right? No matter what happens to the player with the game, they can still be part of said team. Now, if you have a contract that states, right, if you get banned for so and so,
we can
like
terminate that contract.
the xQc stuff, we can terminate that contract.
Yeah.
But say you get banned for, I don't know, saying there was a cheat on your system, but there wasn't, and it's not sorted out yet, we can't fine. It has to be like proofed, and you know, there has to be facts around everything that happened. The contract's there to provide the players with a stable salary. I'm pretty sure Complexity do something along these lines.
Complexity.
In Dota, at least, probably their entire organization. But
Complexity is a pretty big org. all round.
Yeah.
But, like, their players aren't the best, but like they have.
But they have a large influence on esports.
They have
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the best infrastructures in esports, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Where you have a contract says, right, you have this stable salary, you get a bonus if you win so much money or you come in this certain point in each tournament or so.
Yeah.
So that then provides stability for the players.
Yeah.
Because in the end, esports athletes and who they play for is a free for all. People get fired, people get picked up, people retire, they come out of nowhere. Like, it's such a unstable environment at the moment in most games that
I think
this is also what you got to think about.
Yeah.
I think
my main issue with it, and don't get me wrong, obviously I support that a union sort of thing, you know, because it's important to not get screwed over by stuff like this. But like, I have to have a different union per game, I think, because of the different systems per game. Like Overwatch, you have, is it, how many teams are there? 12?
I think it's around 12. Yeah.
Yeah, you have
12 to
12
14.
established teams with players being picked up and, like, you know, put into those teams. The teams aren't going to change, right? I mean, they're going to have more, obviously, but that's fixed teams in fixed locations with fixed players until they change a contract. But in a more volatile game like Dota, where there's no established team organizations, you know, obviously you got Evil Geniuses, Liquid, like Cloud9 jump in and out of Dota. They're not a regular team in Dota. Who else is there? Like Penta Esports, they have a pretty big CS:GO team. Nowhere in Dota, they just drop the team again. Like, there's no established organizations that are guaranteed to keep their players for a long period of time. Like, Evil Geniuses just sacked, you know, they got rid of Universe. He's been there for 6 years or something, and he's instantly joined the new team. So,
yeah, it's sort of a case of it would have to be handled in the same way that traditional labor unions are handled, in that if you work in one area or you're playing for one area, you have that union. If you're working or playing for another area, you have a different union as well. I mean, it could potentially be handled by one company that's sort of like that has multiple divisions that handle different esports, but like I don't want to get into the
you
specifics
could
of
get
running
so
a
many,
company,
like logistics and stuff about how a union can be run and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, it's will it work? Will it be effective in supporting esports athletes and teams and companies? Because in the end, you got to have everyone's best interests, really, right? Don't you?
Yeah, you've got to satisfy the game maker, like Blizzard or Riot or Valve, whoever, and you've got to satisfy your players. You've got to satisfy team owners.
Yeah.
And you've got to satisfy investors as well. I think the one benefit of having a union over a contract is if your contract isn't strict enough, then people start kind of skirting the line of what they can and can't do, to the point where they don't quite get like reprimanded for negative behavior. But also you like your team owner doesn't want them around, and the investors in your team doesn't want them around anymore. But you can't get rid of them because they've signed this contract for X amount of months or whatever.
It's also the problem that a lot of these teams live and die off of what prize money they win. So, for instance, because EG have won tournaments left, right, and centre, Liquid have tournaments left, right, and centre, they can sustain themselves in both Dota and in esports in general. But when you take the teams like Penta and Cloud9 that spot in and out, like, granted, they're still big organizations, they can cover a lot of bases, but in the end, it's down to money. And if a team can't sustain a branch in esports for they're not bringing in enough prize money per year or whatever to keep the players on. That also comes into the fact of contracts and unions and like keeping teams formed for as long as possible, and it's not an ideal situation until you get to a point that teams can sustain themselves without having to win, you know, the $1 million prize pool for the last 2 majors or whatever.
Yeah.
And then my other thing would be, when do you cut it off as well? Like, so if you wanted to subsidize stuff, I don't know. I think I'm going back a little bit here, but like, if you wanted to like subsidize salaries and stuff for organizations, at what point do you say your organization is not qualified enough to like get this subsidization?
Yeah,
that's thing you have to go through.
That is like a concern. I think like it would come down to something along the lines of how have you placed in X tournaments? What is the like? I know it's really small stuff, but it's like, how many viewers do we get when your team is playing? Because I know that was a big thing for the EU LCS like a year or 2 ago, was the viewership was so low. Riot was finding it hard to justify putting money into the EU LCS, which was driving viewership even lower because teams were dropping out and becoming less interested in playing the games. It's this fine line balancing kind of deal of what's the cutoff, and also you look really far into the future. What do you do when your esports dying? Like, let's say Overwatch goes on for like another 5 years, 5-10 years, whatever. At the end of those 5-10 years, when there's next to no viewers and like, let's say 6 teams in a tournament, like, do you still have a union? Like, technically you should, because it's part of the infrastructure now. But also you can't afford it. Like, no one can like generate that upkeep. So what do you do in that situation? It's a whole bunch of really small stuff that adds up to being like, oh yeah, no, it's not that simple. Well, that was that was xQc player unions.
That was pretty interesting.
It's the main amount of stuff we wanted to talk about. Oh, actually, to tie into the player unions as well, I was reading an article by an ex-Dignitas ADC for League, Benji, he was just talking about the fact that if you get injured in esports, no one's like sympathetic for you, because if you're injured and you can't practice and you can't play with your team, you're just out. Like, they'll just replace you because you don't know how long the injury is going to last for. Like, he injured his wrist and he didn't know how long it was going to be injured. Didn't know how long until he could play again, so like they just replaced him.
Well, that comes with sport as well, though. Like, if someone gets, someone breaks their leg, right? You know that on average it's like 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks worth of general healing, but your leg's still weak. You're like, and then if you can't play for that team, why are they still paying you? Why are they still? And don't get me wrong, like, it's not a nice thing. It's not something that people want around. It's not one like that anyone wants. But if you can't, it's the same as when you work. If you can't perform your job, why are people paying you to do your job? Yes, there's probably a better way that it can be handled. And hopefully when esports picks up more, there's like use of subs. I know Overwatch uses it quite a bit, and League does. Not so much Dota, a few other esports, but hopefully if there's a use of subs in games more often, that might not be as much of a problem. But it still comes down to, right, so you're out for 6 weeks, pay you because a doctor said you're out for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
If by the end of them 6 weeks you don't have any, you're not going to be able to carry on doing your job, are you? So then why, in the end, a company's going to go, why are we keeping you around if we get someone to do your job? But at a better standard, because they're not injured.
Yeah.
Granted, it comes into all like legal stuff of like, if you're hurt, you get so much time, whatever. You can't be fired because you're injured or this or that.
Yeah.
I mean,
in sport, you have to provide enough work to make sure that your team has a chance of winning in the end.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem behind that.
Linking to that, like, think about just a case where that's like a thing. I don't know if you remember at TI4 when Fear played for EG, still does now, but like he had his wrist injury, and he had to not play at TI4. So they brought Mason in, and obviously he didn't have a contract. None of his players have contracts or anything, or like they're not part of the union. So when it came time for Fear to come back, he wasn't brought straight back, you know, because Mason was playing alright. So even though he played for that team for like 3 or 4 years at that point, it was just, well, this guy's better now, so we're just gonna keep rid of him for now instead.
The case with that though,
Yeah.
he got brought in as a coach, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he didn't fully get
but then like as soon as results started going down again, and Mason wasn't playing as well, you got on Mason, mate. We're bringing Fear back in, right? That was it. I mean, they won TI after that, to be fair. But,
so it was probably the right decision.
but
yeah, it's sort of this ethical kind of gray area where it's like, yeah, we've brought in this sub. He's better than you for now. But like, also, as soon as he stops being better than you, you've been around long enough that you can just come straight back in. It's like the team wants to win, obviously, and like everyone in the team wants the best for the team.
Yeah.
But like, it stings if you've been around for like 6 years and they're just like, this guy's better than you at the moment. Just I don't know, just sit in the back or something. I don't know.
It's loyalty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you loyal to the players to keep them around? I mean, to go with the ADC that you were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
like, it's possible that, you could be fired from one team, you could be picked up by another team, or you can do what a lot of retired professional sports players do, is go into broadcasting.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not for everyone, and a lot of gamers are introverts, so it's a lot harder, I think, to get into it. But it's also another factor of you have been fired because you can't do it. But there are other options in the industry to still make a sizable living.
Yeah, I mean, the most notable one I can think of is he was the support for EG EU. It's Crepo. He was support, then retired from professional play, and is now he's on analyst desk, I believe, for EULCS.
Okay.
At least I think he still is. He might not be anymore.
I have heard of Crepo, definitely. So.
Yeah. But he became like this major figure. He went from kind of the goofy support of EG that everyone kind of loved to like this major figure that you would see like weekly.
Yeah.
So like there's definitely situations where you can feel like, oh, okay.
Sounds like the entirety of Team's effort.
I'm not able to be in professional play anymore, but I could do something else.
Yeah.
And like even if it's not through injury or whatever, if it's just like, okay, I'm retiring now.
Yeah.
If you're popular enough, just do what Dyrus and I'm a Cutie did. I mean, Cutie makes so much money now that he doesn't need to go back into professional esports. He's been asked like 2 or 3 times by teams and been given like decent figures for like how much they'd pay him if he came back, and he was just like, no, I'd lose so much money from not streaming every day.
So
like, not worth it.
like Admirable Dog and Sing Sing and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
my comparison, I guess. But
Yeah.
obviously, League is a bit more profitable. So.
Well, that's the other bit, isn't it? You go for either broadcasting in tournaments and, like you said, the EOS, or you go into streaming, which, as we all know, is huge at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
one of just I don't know why I'm saying this because it's not really relevant, but Wagamama makes so much money. He makes so much money. Every day he streams 3K viewers non-stop for like 10 hours, and then he gets invited to panels as well. Like, fuck
Yeah.
that. Oh, and he's sponsored by Complexity as well, so he's rich. But yeah. Any more topics, or are we? Anything anyone desperate to talk about?
I've covered more than I ever thought I'd know, so I'm
Yeah.
good.
I know you mentioned Trump, but I'm not sure we're too fussed about that particularly.
That's just more of a
Yeah.
little notice call. Have you seen it? It's not a debate.
Video games don't cause violence, sir.
There you go.
Screw
it,
you,
we're done.
orange prick.
But also, we need a space force.
Yes.
Let's not. Now we're going into politics. This is
Yeah, this is not.
We need a real life Iron Man suit, please. Thank you.
Hey, that was Obama's idea.
I said that directly into my camera then, looking straight in the eye.
Come on, do it.
Do it!
Okay.
You toupee wearing. Sorry.
Whoa.
Oh.
They're gonna send the fucking poison around me in a minute, Jesus. Well, yeah.
Another truck turning up in here.
Please no. Gonna send 23 American diplomats out of the country.
Right, come on.
All right, I think that's it for esports.
Yeah.
Esports, ready.
And
The
it's,
podcast.
like we could go over like results of stuff, but like
I don't know.
I'd rather not.
Go to Wikipedia. It's better than us for results.
I don't know anything.
Shout out Wikipedia as well.
Hire us.
I don't know why I'm shouting out everybody right now.
Shut up.
Yeah, that was Esports Ready episode 1. That's the name we're going with, by the way. Now,
Nice.
I'm excited.
Well, that's good.
I've been Adam. That's been Chris,
I'll continue to be Chris.
and he will also be Lee for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, we'll see.
For now.
Feels like better comes along.
We'll try and make this a semi-regular thing, I guess, maybe
We can try.
until those two go to America.
We disappear
And
for
then
3
I'll
months.
just sit there by
3,
myself
4
for 2
months.
hours talking shit about esports.
Well, you get other people in.
Nah,
Yeah.
Not just
don't trust anyone else.
fair enough.
Nah,
We are the best. So
I don't want Ben pretending to spit whilst I'm talking about Dota for 2 hours.
yeah.
It'll be fine.
Fine.
Thank you for watching. If you didn't, well, screw you.
I mean, if they're saying this, then they're watching it or listening to it at some point.
If you want to watch it again, we'll be on YouTube. That'll be cool. I'll post a link on my Twitter at GearAH. If
Plug.
anyone else wants to plug there, just go
Plug.
for it now. I don't care. Go for it now.
I've got nothing to plug at the moment.
At ToadReg25.
TerrorRage25. You can read my work at Ghosty Gamers on there too. Just saying.
You can't read my work there. I don't have any.
I can't read.
I think we'll call it that then.
And we'll call it there. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good time wherever you are on the earth.
Evening,
And,
morning, night.
yeah,
That one. Afternoon.
And play video games.
in Abyssal.